Today we are talking about our surprise baby number 5. Hi, and welcome back to Old Fashioned Graces. And on this channel we talk about homemaking, homesteading, and how to be a lady. We are expecting our 5th baby. We are very excited, but it was also a surprise. One of the things I've definitely noticed with this being my 5th pregnancy in such a short period of time is that I'm getting big faster. I'll show you as good of a picture as I can get of my bump, and then you'll also see the thumbnail, which shows it off a bit better. But this is the bump currently. Like I said, I'm 14 weeks pregnant, so it's pretty big already. I am someone who just carries really big to begin with. So people are always asking me, are you sure it's just one in there? Oh, you must be due any day now. And I'm like 6 months pregnant. So I know I will get big. I always do. The goal is to just stay as healthy as possible. My husband Carrie and I were married in October of 2018. This October we will mark 7 years of marriage. In fact, our baby's due date is right around our anniversary. So we will have had 5 children in 7 years with no multiples. Yes, that is kind of crazy, but it's also been a wonderful, wonderful adventure. And I could not be happier, and I could not be happier with the person that I'm on the adventure with. So early February this year, even though we were attempting to not get pregnant using NFP, which I'll talk about more later, my period was a few days late, and I just knew, which I have never known with any of the other pregnancies, but this one I just had this feeling. So I took a test, and sure enough, it was positive, and we were very, very surprised. Excited, a little bit nervous. We are Catholic Christians, and one of the things that you commit to as a Catholic, and a lot of other non-Catholic Christians commit to, is being open to life. Now, this does not mean having as many children as you possibly can. This does not mean having children at any cost. This does not mean the wife can never say no. This means that we know that ultimately God is the one that controls the womb, and we will never do anything to artificially close off the womb, whether that would be surgery, unless we're talking about something like a hysterectomy if it becomes medically necessary. But no tubal ligation, no vasectomy, obviously no abortion, but also no form of contraception. No hormonal contraception or barrier method. We use NFP, which stands for Natural Family Planning. There's also a very similar method called Fertility Awareness Method, or FAM, that is also really wonderful. These methods, either NFP or FAM, and there's many, many different ways you can use them. You are paying attention to the woman's cycle, her mucus, her hormone levels, and all of that. And they are actually, when used perfectly, even more effective than hormonal birth control, without destroying the woman's hormones, without harming the planet, and staying within God's plan and design for marriage. So we have been using NFP throughout our marriage. So, though it may seem, having this many kids this close together, that we are trying to have as many kids as possible, I have something that I jokingly refer to as hyperfertility, but what I really mean is that I have some hormonal issues that means that my cycles return very shortly after giving birth, sometimes within 6 weeks. So using some sort of natural family planning is essential for us. It's essential for my health. It helps us to make sure we are not having 10 to 11 month apart babies every year. In fact, our last 2 children were almost 2 years apart. Just about a week shy of being 2 years apart. So does that mean NFP failed us when we had a surprise baby? And the answer is no, for 2 reasons. The first reason being I have very, very unpredictable cycles. I was still breastfeeding around the clock at the time, and I have never had consistent cycles. Like I said, I have hormonal issues, and that leads it to be very difficult to track my body's fertility. However, using another form of birth control, besides being against my conscience, especially if it was hormonal birth control, could harm my body even more. The second reason NFP didn't fail us is because the whole philosophy behind NFP is that we use our knowledge, the intelligence that God has given us, and the tools that He's given us to track a woman's fertility and to do our best to plan for babies when we think it's best. However, we know that God ultimately controls the womb and that it's God's choice when children come into the world. So with NFP, you abstain through one's fertile window, which usually is about 6 to 8 days of fertility. And you just don't come together during that time and you don't get pregnant. And then the rest of the cycle is fair game and you can enjoy each other as much as you want. But sometimes God's plans are better than ours. And this is one of those times. I know God has a plan for this baby. We were being very, very careful. We were following all of the rules because of some health issues I had going on at the time. And so, although we were a little bit concerned with my health when we found out I was pregnant, we also knew that this was God's plan. This was God's baby. He knew from the beginning of time that this is when we were supposed to have this baby. And we're excited to see what God's plan is because we have no idea what crazy adventures He has in store for us. And we're excited to go along the ride. There have been times in this pregnancy that it has been difficult to trust in God's plan. It's hard to not question God when you're looking around going, I don't think this is what was best for me. But we know that ultimately God is what is best for us, and God's plan was best for us. Our current baby is 11 months. She's almost ready to turn a year. I am 14 and a half weeks along, which means she was about 8 months old when I got pregnant. So this will be about 17 months apart for these babies. We are very, very blessed to have the support that we do and to have family and friends that were very excited for us when we told them we were expecting. And I know there are many people that don't have this experience of being in a pro-life community that is excited for every baby. I come from a large family, and I know from first-hand experience that even good faith communities can sometimes fail to realize what a joy and what a blessing each child is. We believe God's word when He says that children are a blessing from Him. And because we believe that, we are excited whenever we find out that there's another little one in this world, no matter the circumstances of their conception, no matter how improper the timing is, because we know that in God's timing, everything is perfect. So like I said, I am 14 weeks along as of when I'm recording this. So my due window is the beginning of October-ish, but I tend to go late, so we're going for somewhere between the end of September and middle-ish of October. We are very excited to have a baby right around our anniversary. It'll be a very new experience for us. So we're asking for prayers for health and a safe and wonderful birth. We had our first appointment. Everything looked great. So baby was moving, very, very active, has a strong heartbeat, all that good stuff. I hope this is an encouragement to all those who sometimes struggle to trust in God's plan for them and their fertility. An encouragement in kind of maybe a weird way to those who aren't sure of it. Whether we admit it or not, God ultimately controls the womb. He is the one that decides when we will conceive and closes the womb when He decides that we're done. Trusting God can be really hard sometimes, but it always is for the best. Whether in this side of eternity or the next. I hope you join along on this journey. We will be talking a lot more about pregnancy and baby stuff. And one of the next videos, I will be going over what I'm doing specifically this pregnancy to prepare for birth and to keep myself strong and healthy throughout pregnancy. I'll discuss what I'm eating, what exercise I'm doing to help, what books and podcasts I'm reading/listening to, and any other random tidbits that I find helpful. If you're interested, my mom is a trained doula, and we could have her on to discuss all things birth. She has had 11 children and been to many, many births that were not her own, so she has quite a bit of experience racked up. So let me know in the comments below what you're interested in. I really appreciate all the support. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It really, really helps my channel. It helps us feed our ever-growing family. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a wonderful day. God bless. Bye.